A few months ago, one of our viewers emailed me personally to give me some feedback. While he loved the videos and found them both educational and entertaining, thank you for that, he also noticed that my posture was, well, in a word, terrible. He suggested that I simply pick up the book Pain Free by Peter Egoscue. Well, fast forward to 3 months of following just a handful of the selected exercises from that book and feeling my posture improve more and more each day, I decided to take it to the next level by visiting Paul Schell, the founder and owner of the Egoscue Clinic in Santa Monica. Hey guys, welcome to What the Friday. Everyone knows my background with Egoscue. Shout out to the customer that gave me the heads up about the book Pain Free by Peter Egoscue. I am fortunate enough to be here today with Paul Schell, the founder and owner of the Egoscue Clinic in Santa Monica. Yeah, right. Paul, thank you so much for taking time with us. And so the people that watch the show already know my backstory, but how did you get involved with the Egoscue Method?
Well, how I got started was I actually was in college and I studied athletic training and physical therapy, and a friend of mine had graduated before me. She was our athletic trainer for rugby, and she had told me about it, and it was like, it's everything you're learning in school, all the pieces and parts, anatomy and so forth, but totally different. And so she kind of had me intrigued there, and it was like, okay, it sounds cool, but you know, I'm learning all this cool stuff like electrical stimulation, and you know, all these different therapeutic modalities and all the sort of cutting edge things to help people in pain. Well, my roommate, who had a long time back issue, he had a spondylolisthesis, which is a slippage of one vertebrae over the other. He was a great athlete, great rugby player, but was always hurt. So she started working with him as she was learning the Egoscue Method. And lo and behold, you know, a few weeks into it, he was back in the training room. He was, you know, working out, and then he was back on the field the next season full time. And mind you, the year before, he was going to physical therapy. We had a team chiropractor. He was doing everything he could to get back on the field, and nothing was helping. So just with a few simple exercises that he did, you know, on a consistent basis, he was able to jump back in it, and then also get back in the weight room and start strengthening once his foundation and structure was right. So that really sort of pushed me more into it to really pique my interest. And then another friend told me about it, another friend, and just kind of, you know, kept going. So finally I'm like, okay, how many more, you know, signs of the universe need to show me, and go, okay, well, let me go check it out. And sure enough, I did, and it's just been, you know, sort of a whole learning process since then. And that was back in '98 that I got started. Wow. So it's been a while, and I'm always learning.
Yeah, and we spoke a little bit before off camera that like your friend was like a big rugby player, dude, right? Like,
yeah.
You know, and what I found so amazing with this method was that it's not just for, even though the book is called Pain Free, right?
Right.
But pain is expressed in all different ways.
Yes.
You know, so like besides someone with just a chronic ache in their shoulder, how else could like a structural integration or foundation help? Because I know for myself, with just by weightlifting, it's changed, or throwing dodgeballs has improved, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one of the sayings or mantras that we have is get straight and then strengthen, and that speaks to anybody. So it's like, well, anybody who has a posture could benefit by this, right? We're all stimulus response. So whatever we feed our bodies in terms of environmental stimulus or types of activities, which activity these days is a choice. Right, and most of us, you know, the kids today, you watch them, and you know, activity is at the end of their fingertips, playing a game, or it's, you know, studying on the computer, or you know, sitting in a chair and taking notes and so forth. And just all of that sitting and getting stuck in that position is already compromising their structure and posture. So the movement that we're supposed to have, motion is what we're built for, isn't there. So then you take that into athletics, and you say, okay. You know, I'm helping coach the youth rugby here in Santa Monica, right? And so we've got these kids, and they can't break down, they can't get into that normal athletic position. Right. So instead of breaking down at their hip hinge, they're doing this to get low.
That looks exactly like my posture.
Right.
If I was playing rugby.
Yeah, and so that's, you know, I'm trying to get into a tackle here, well, I'm going to get bowled over, or I'm going to stick my head into it and get a concussion, like we're seeing so many, you know, prevalent concussions in football and things. So, you know, take that in the weight room as well. If I have rounded shoulders from all that time here, time on task, whether it's, you know, typing or on the computer or my new iPad or whatever that's going to be, then I go, okay, well now I'm going to do an overhead press with weights, right? Well, if I'm fixed and stuck here, think of all of that pressure going onto the shoulder and even into the neck in trying to get overhead. I can't do it physically. So now we're going to have overuse injuries, or we're going to have itises, inflammations, and so forth, because we're unable to get into the position where the shoulder should just rest there, and then it's easy free motion. Then you can add some stimulus or add some extra weight to build muscle rather than trying to fight your own body. The side of the pain is rarely the source of the problem.
Yeah, can you like explain that a little more in terms of like,
sure.
How someone could come up with rounded shoulders, but maybe the problem isn't exactly the rounded shoulder.
I'll give you an example also of a woman. She was in her 70s doing marathons, and scoliosis, and came in with tennis elbow.
Okay.
Right? So like tennis elbow for a runner. She's like, it only hurts when I run, right? And she's doing like her 30th marathon or some crazy thing like that. She comes in, and so she's, it only hurts when I run. So I say, okay, well, let me see your structure first of all, and see she's got elevated hips, and she's rounded and rotated, and definitely has, curvature in her back. And say, okay, well, go ahead and take a walk now. So she takes a walk, and you can see when she's walking, she's throwing her arm at her elbow, and she's turning that arm and bending it excessively.
Wow.
But even more so is that she's using, because her left hip isn't working at all. So she's creating that forward motion for her opposite leg that doesn't want to fire. So we didn't do anything for her arm or shoulder or the elbow itself. What we did was we woke up her left hip through the exercises, and then she was able to now walk without that arm swinging excessively.
Wow.
So something like that, one area, the site of the problem, was not where the pain was showing up. And that happens more than you can imagine. It happens every day. So that's what we're seeing people in. And when their body's not responding in the right way, we have to take that more global view and to look at the whole structure and say, how is it all working together or not working together?
Two things are coming to mind. As you're saying this, I'm getting so freaked out in my mind. Like, is my hip, what's going on?
Right.
My finger hurts, does that mean my... And the other thing is, I'm just thinking of like the game Jenga.
Yeah.
Like if someone like pulls a piece on the bottom, like the top
Absolutely.
starts getting wobbly.
Right.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is, if it's, I'm going to be kind of like the typical person coming in to find out what structurally is wrong with them, or what we can improve upon, and going through, I guess, take us through the steps of the experience of someone coming in and doing an evaluation with them.
Cool, yeah, it'd be fun.
All right, great.